Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new episode. Today, we're going to dive in the history behind of BRIXX. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, actually, and thank you very much for being here, for accept this invitation.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm gonna sit down.
Okay, no worries. I'm gonna stand.
Nice.
So
all right.
that's not weird.
For sure. First of all, I'd like to know why. Do you remember that time when do you decide like become a producer, like start working music? Because I assumed on your entire life the music has been very important in your life. So in one time maybe you take for sure the decision, maybe I'm gonna start make music.
I think there were a few things that happened. One thing I think happened quite subconsciously. So I remember I used to be out in clubs when I was in my early 20s and sort of stand there with my friend and we'd kind of say, sort of evaluate what was going on around us with the music, and she'd say, I like this bit of the song, but it might sound better if it had that. And I'd say, I like this, but I don't like those drums. But I had no intention at that point to become a producer, but it was just something like a thought process that I always had when I was listening to music. So I think by nature I was quite analytical with the way that I sort of thought about things. And then probably a few years after that I was in Shanghai with some friends. It was quite random and they invited me to this club for expats over there because they were older and the guy was working for like a car company or something, and so I was sort of staying with them. They were family friends. They took me out one night and we all got quite drunk and there was like a band playing and they said, you mentioned that you like drums, would you like to play with this band? And so I was kind of playing these drunken drums on the stage.
Wow.
So when I came back to Melbourne, I think I was still living with my parents at the time, and they said, you can't have a drum kit, it's too loud. So I got this electronic drum kit. And then because I had that, like obviously you're curating different sounds with it was like a Roland kit or something. And then I was in a band, but then I don't know, I didn't really enjoy that, but I really enjoyed playing on that drum kit. So I think it kind of started after that, and then I bought Ableton, and then that's kind of how I did it. So.
Wow, amazing that experience.
Yeah.
And then you started already. You have the experience before that experience, and then obviously the life took for this place maybe, but you have the decision, and then. In time, maybe it's not maybe, it's of course, you start make music more like seriously, take all these things like seriously. Say, okay, I'm gonna start working this.
It took a very long time. Like I was sort of a DJ first. Like I used to play on a laptop and just go out and play mashup stuff on Ableton for fun, and then it took a long time to kind of finish tracks and to even sort of do that on the side, because I was always working these full-time jobs and I was always tired and didn't really have the inclination. But then I think when I started finishing tracks, I became more serious about it, and then, was kind of doing more production. But I don't think there was ever a point where I said, maybe I just want to make this my career, because I kind of always worked as well. But there was a point where it started to obviously get more serious as I started to finish things, and then I started to enjoy the production process a bit more, I think. So. Yeah,
it's amazing. How do you start make when you have in your mind maybe sometimes some songs or the when you like sparkling, like I like to make a song maybe today, I don't know, or soon as possible. How do you start when you resolve this in your mind?
Yeah, so for me it sort of evolves quite slowly, I guess, because it's always very concept driven with me, because my background is as a writer, so there really has to be quite a big concept behind what I'm doing. So it's not sort of just like I'll come up with a bass line and make a track. There's usually a concept behind it. So the latest release that I've just released on Syntheside, give a little bit of a plug, it's called the Psychic Tapes. So that was based on psychic and tarot readings over the past 10 years that I had done. So I went through a whole bunch of files from these psychic readings and was kind of figuring out, what kind of dialogue would work in a track, like I have to clean this up. So it kind of started with dialogue, and then I made some bass lines, and then I was like, what kind of genre will this be? And so then I decided on the genre, but it kind of started from a concept, and then how can I kind of put these samples in a track, and how will that work? And then after that, the musical style evolved. So yeah, maybe a bit different to how other people do it, but for me, it's usually with a concept.
This is it. You're a writer too.
Yeah, I mean, not so much anymore. I worked as a journalist for a long time. So I guess I was just always interested in, you know, like there being like a,
The
I don't know, like a
storytelling.
centerpiece or something like that. Yeah, the storytelling, I suppose. Like for me, to make music without a concept doesn't make sense. I think because I've got that writing background, so it kind of has to tie in to that, which kind of makes everything more complicated, because it would be nicer just to make a track and not think about that. But I think I'm too analytical, so I can't let that go.
Yeah, for sure. I help a lot actually have this kind of mind, you know, journalist or writer's
Yeah.
mind, because you know how to tell the history, you know, how the story, what the history needs for that journey, you know. You
Yeah.
take this and bring all these concepts to the music, so it's amazing. This how they connect, you know, all these passions actually for and finish and make a song, you know, how to tell the histories.
Well, I don't know if it makes sense to other people, but it makes sense.
That depends.
To me.
If it makes sense for you, that's it. This is it. You know,
well,
this is
that's
more
it.
truth for you. You
Yeah,
know.
true.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's
amazing.
true. Yeah.
So you live in Berlin right now.
I'm living in Berlin at the moment, yeah.
How was it right now? It's so different.
Yeah,
from
it's
here?
different. I've lived there before, and it's like changed a lot since COVID, and it's still, and there's like quite a few of the clubs are closing as well because you know, like just costs are going up, and so it has changed a lot. Things are more expensive, but I still find it an interesting city. I still find it quite inspirational in quite a lot of ways, especially just even the soundscape of the city. Like it's very loud, there's always sirens going off, there's like weird things going on. So for me, that's kind of my musical inspiration. It's like this city soundscape that is always evolving.
Yeah, it's amazing how you took this experience, these sounds in the music, because in your production maybe also, yeah, or assume this is kind of bit different. If you make music there, it's different than the part that you make music here, you know, because all the environment changed.
That's true.
And you start like learn Germany, I think, you know, they start learn new languages, all these like open more, I think, the mind, the brain, you know, start working differently.
That's true.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's amazing, they say. How do you see Melbourne scene in the electronic music in the night sometimes?
Sorry, how
do you see the vibe of the Melbourne scene?
of the Melbourne scene?
Yeah, in the night, in the music, in the club,
Yeah, I mean,
the
I think
people
there's a lot
too.
going on. Look, to be honest with you, I don't really go out that much here. I kind of stopped going out for a while, and I was more focused on production, but I think it's got, you know, pretty good nightlife. It depends what you like. I mean, I think I like more obscure, quite dark dance music. So for me, like Berlin is obviously the mecca for that, because, you know, you've got so many artists from all around Europe, and a lot of the artists that I like, they're very small, and they probably wouldn't maybe come over here because they wouldn't have, you know, the funds to be able to do that. So for me, it's probably more interesting to go out over there. But I think Melbourne has a very, you know, diverse scene in terms of, you know, whatever you're after, except maybe that like really super dark dance stuff. But, you know, that said, there is also good parties here that are thrown by some of my friends that are into that scene. But yeah, I can't really make too much of a comment because I'm not that involved in the scene here. But I think, you know, I don't know, I feel like it is like probably a little bit younger. Like I think in Berlin and even in Sydney, some of the scenes, because I've sort of been involved a little bit over there as well, I would say that you sort of get some more diverse age groups. Like I'll see people in their 60s and 70s be out, and I've never seen that here. Not to say, not to discriminate against that, but that's just not something that I see. So yeah.
But it's good to know, because this kind of is interesting for the people how the scene move, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the moment in this moment actually. So it's nice have this kind of view, you know. It's amazing. How do you see? What is your plan for the future?
In terms of music?
Yeah.
We were kind of chatting about
what
that.
are you
before.
in your life? But
In my life, yeah. Well, I
your
mean, I'm
music?
going in a different direction now. So I think I made music for quite a long time, and I felt like it was fun, but it was very self-indulgent. Like it was just me making music, and you know, I'm not like a huge performer that I love to be out performing all the time. I'm a real introvert. So I think because I've been making music the last 8 years and quite involved in that, I was sort of like, I kind of have this real need to sort of give back to the community now in a different sense. So I'm about to study a diploma of counselling. I'm quite into tarot, and I've been doing a lot of that in Berlin. And so more directly working with clients and working with people and helping them through issues. So obviously very sort of different to music, but I'm also very interested in like binaural beats and like frequency healing and that kind of thing. So I feel like in the future I will take my music production and probably put into that kind of stuff. So maybe more music for meditation so yeah, it's pretty different, but I don't really want to lose the music aspect of it, but it will shift it will be less club focused, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, sure. It's very important actually because we're talking about this for the vibration, you know, like
Yep.
everything's vibrating and the music vibrates too a lot. So it's different levels, you know, hertz, megahertz, and everything
Yep.
like involved and affect our brains. So
Yep.
it's amazing if you have all this kind of view. I try to focus. You can make techno and also have a like you know
Yeah.
like meditation music at the
Yeah.
same time. So it's amazing how they work, but the creative brain and how many tools have make electronic music. Because you can make any genre actually.
Yeah.
If you like to change your name, you can change, you know, invert letter or something like that. But
Totally.
it's amazing how the electronic music have or give us actually.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you very much for this interview, for this conversation,
Pleasure,
for
thank you.
opening your heart and tell your history.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for all the people that see this interview and share and comment. Thank you and see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Vic.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
Ouch. 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 Ouch.